no offense to Jesus, but I always did think this, especially when I was a full on atheist, raised Catholic, and I used to argue with the priests all the time, and just they couldn't even express their opinion because they just trust the plan. Whatever, you just have to have faith. If you ever ask them a
Hmm.
question, they're just like, "We just have faith, brother." And I'd be like, "What about this?" And they just wouldn't know the answer. And so that's why I was just like, "Okay, these
That's
people are
devilish
completely retarded."
satanic thoughts entering you.
Yeah,
That's Satan whispering in
yeah.
your ear, giving you those doubts.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
think
he's
of all the
real,
people on earth that suffered worse than Jesus, but his suffering saved the whole world because God
yeah.
decided so.
I always used to believe that all the books were rewritten and this was all just made up stuff written down, from that. God knows what the original books were, but they've actually found some of the original books and they're surprisingly similar. And I was talking to you about the Ethiopian Bible. And they've cut a lot of it out, but some of the stuff that was originally there is actually quite ancient. But so the Jews just wrote that.
Ancient doesn't mean real, though. Ancient or not changed that
I
much
was
doesn't
just
mean
under
it's
the
real.
assumption. I was under the assumption that it had been like Chinese whispered the whole time,
Mm.
and God knows what it even was supposed to be about. But so you think the Jews just basically created Jesus as like the opposite to Superman being your God? Superman like kicks ass, he just crushes everybody, and your God is like always turning the other cheek. He refuses to have a porn website. He refuses to gamble. He refuses to make money off of usury. And they're like, the Jews come along and go, you ever hear them? They're always like, well, the only reason we did usury was because the Christians would refuse to do it. So you kind of create like anything that makes money, you make illegal for your slave class. Like you don't take an eye for an eye. You turn the other cheek, and don't kill anybody and don't make money and don't sell porn and don't have strippers and don't get,
Yeah. Don't try to
don't
be
go
first. The first will be last. The first will be last, so you don't need to be first. You can die. It's okay. You'll go to heaven.
Yeah.
Those
And
type
if
of
you just
things.
live a poor life and do nothing and just are totally meek, then you will win. And
Hmm.
we will take the sin of driving the giant cars and banging all the hookers and making all the money off all the casinos.
Hmm.
And you will go and it isn't interesting like creating but it is funny though. The Christian ethos has done some good for culture, I think, in keeping people from completely spiraling out.
I mean, it causes a lot of people to spiral out too, and
Yeah.
mentally ill people really gravitate to religion also, and I think it pushes mentally ill people to be more mentally ill, actually, and schizophrenic. It is like
Yeah.
kind of a schizophrenic conspiracy theory to think, the Bible's real and God's watching you, and if you don't believe in the sacrifice and the blood magic, then you're gonna go to hell. Like, it's not healthy. We need to bring people back into the real world and in reality. Matt, I have a book that has the Todoth Yeshu, it's called, and that is the secret life of Jesus. And this is the Jewish traditions about Jesus. And they literally cite those verses about turning the other cheek, and they put it in the context of a Christian and a Jew. So they mock the idea of Christians being pushovers and to easily taken advantage of because of these teachings. I'm not going to read the
Yeah.
full
I mean,
thing.
does it look like Israel turns the other cheek?
No, they rise in first, actually. Yeah, for
Bloodlust.
Jews, it's blot out the memory of Amalek and never forget. And for Christians, it's forgive and pray and love your enemy and pray for your persecutor.
I just foresee that as almost a fool's errand at this point. I mean, to try and convince
Me
the
too!
world.
The Goyim want to be slaves. That's the problem. I've got Goyim fatigue. They want to be dupes and slaves, and they want to. Yeah, exactly. That is the problem. You're right. Yeah, that's the conclusion we're at.
So if the Jews knew it was all fake, then did they believe their own religion, or it's just a business operating system?
Most of them do, but
the leader class?
maybe the priest class and the originators and the ones at the very top right now maybe know it's fake, and it's just like they know it's a control mechanism on their people and by extension Christianity and Islam, because if the source is fake and a Plato's noble lie to control everybody through the power of prophecy, and like Orwell says, you control the present, you control the past, you control the future. Well, the religious people are controlling the present. They have the fake because of the fake history of the past, and then because of prophecy and everybody believing, controlling the future. You mentioned Enoch in the Ethiopian Bible, right? The Son of Man is Jesus. This is Enoch 48, okay? The Son of Man He's the light to the Gentiles. All who dwell on earth shall fall down and worship before him. He was chosen and hidden before the creation of the world. And he is the wisdom of the Lord of spirits. The Holy Spirit has revealed him to the holy and righteous. That's the apostles that found Jesus in the scriptures and invented him through Midrash to conquer all of the people on the earth. That's the purpose of Jesus and the Son of Man. That's the biggest. This is the most important verse in Enoch, not angels and Anunnaki and
Jesus, right?
Yes.
Pre-Jesus.
The Jesus myth was influenced by this. This is the book of Enoch found in the Dead Sea Scrolls and definitely pre-Christian.
But also in the Ethiopian Bible too.
The book of Enoch, yes.
I mean, I got to tell you, like, this is the type of stuff that drove me away from religion. This just excuses for wars. And he's like, we can't have hate. We can't have murder, persecution, while the Jews are just literally hating, persecuting, and all day long. But it's like, because they're the chosen ones. Where's all this hate coming from? And you have the Israelis dancing on the graves. No problem at all. But God forbid a goyim might be like, hey, you guys are out of control. Like, oh, the hate. Oh, Jesus. It really is sickening. And everyone, Hegseth's over there praying to Jesus for our warriors to perform correctly and their arrows to fly straight. And then the Muslims are praying to their God and the Jews are praying to their God and everyone's praying away. It's pretty gross, man. The amount of warring that goes on in the name of organized religion is just horrific. It really is. So you never know. You might get your way. Maybe eventually everyone on the planet Earth will just become atheist. And then
hey, maybe we won't have an apocalyptic end times war and have all of our government thinking you're blessed if you bless Israel. If that happens, that sounds like a W to me.
The people will fall for one religion or another. They'll just reject all Abrahamic religion, and then there'll be an AI God that will come in. People are going to fall for some kind of religion. It's inevitable. Every single race, every single culture has done it. So it's in the DNA, you might say. Funnily enough,
that's not a bad prediction that AI gods are going to replace the Abrahamic gods. That could be the future.